Commander Elias Rourke stood at the edge of the large hangar window, watching the alien starship settle on the landing platform. Even after years of training with the Galactic Confluence, he still felt a small electric thrill run through him every time he saw technology far beyond anything humans had ever built. The ship looked like a floating silver leaf, bending light around its wings as if it were part of a dream. He straightened his uniform, took a slow breath, and reminded himself that he was here for one reason. Humanity needed a representative who would stay calm, think clearly, and work well with species that did not always understand humans. Rourke had been chosen not because he was the smartest or strongest, but because he had a habit of staying steady when others panicked. It was a trait the Confluence valued, especially on this mission. Today he would join an alien crew to explore a dark region of space. Stars had vanished there, whole systems burned out or silent. No one knew why. Rourke picked up his small pack and walked toward the ship. As he stepped into the glowing ramp, the temperature changed to a soft warmth, and a faint humming sound filled the air. He had heard alien ships sang in their own way. This one felt calm and steady, like a heartbeat. Inside the main corridor, 4 alien crew members waited. Rourke had read every file available, but reading something and seeing it in person were always different. The first to step forward was Captain Shavrin, a tall crystalline being whose translucent body reflected tiny sparks of blue and green. "Commander Rourke," the captain said in a voice that sounded like clear bells ringing. "Welcome aboard the Luminara. You will serve as the human liaison and tactical advisor during our journey." Rourke nodded respectfully. "I'm honored to join your crew, Captain." The second figure moved forward with smooth, fluid grace. This one looked almost like a living shadow with glowing amber eyes. The species was called Valen, known for sensitivity to energy fields. The Valenists introduced themselves simply as Saren. Saren gave a small bow, observing Rourke with curiosity but no hostility. Next was a stocky, 4-armed engineer named Brooka. Her rough skin had patterns like stone, and she greeted Rourke with a cheerful grunt. "Human, I like humans. They break things in interesting ways. Makes my job fun." Rourke couldn't help a small smile. "I'll try not to break too much." Finally, from the back of the room, someone stepped forward slowly. Rourke recognized her at once from the briefing. Torella, an archivist of the Ulenti people. Her species was small, delicate, with soft blue skin, long fingers, and eyes much larger than human eyes. Those eyes were deep violet, shimmering like a star-filled sky. Archivists were known for their rare ability. They could perceive emotional resonance by looking into someone's eyes. It was not telepathy, but something more artistic and ancient. "Commander Rourke," Torella said quietly. Her voice was soft and musical, like wind through leaves. "I am honored to meet you." She stepped closer, and Rourke watched her expression shift as she looked into his eyes. It was only a moment, but her pupils widened as if she had seen something surprising. She blinked quickly and lowered her gaze. Rourke made a mental note. Something about him had caught her off guard. Captain Shavrin gestured around them. "Let us begin. The ship will depart in 10 minutes. We will brief you once we reach safe distance." Rourke followed them through the corridor and placed his pack near his assigned cabin. Everything was smooth and metallic, but warm to the touch, almost organic. The walls shifted softly, displaying faint waves of color that reflected the ship's internal mood. For a human, it was strange but not frightening. He entered the main bridge, and the view took his breath away. A giant transparent dome curved overhead, showing the sky and the starport below. Aliens moved around living control stations that responded to gestures, not buttons. Torella stood at her post, her hands dancing lightly over floating symbols. Rourke took his seat as the engines awakened. The ship lifted with no sound, and the starport fell away beneath them. Stars stretched like glittering dust as they entered the void. Captain Shavrin turned to the crew. "Our destination is the Silent Rift. 3 systems within it have stopped emitting all signals. No survivors, no debris. This mission is investigative. We proceed with caution." Rourke nodded. "Understood. What theories are on the table?" Saren spoke first. "Energy collapse. A natural phenomenon. But if it feels wrong, energy fields there behave strangely, and even our long-range senses cannot reach inside." Brooka grunted. "Could be a weapon. Or something alive. Maybe something hungry." Torella's voice was the quietest. "We do not know. But we must learn." The ship jumped into faster-than-light travel, and the stars streaked into long white lines. During the first hours of travel, the crew settled into routine tasks. Rourke walked around the bridge, studying the displays, watching how everyone worked. He did not speak much, but his presence was steady, grounding. After some time, Torella approached him. Her steps were soft, almost soundless. "Commander," she said gently, "may I ask you something?" "Of course." She hesitated, fingers folding together in a nervous gesture. "When I looked into your eyes earlier, I saw something unusual. Something vast, calm, and warm. It is rare for humans." Rourke tilted his head. "What did you see exactly?" "For archivists," she explained, "eyes are like windows. We do not read thoughts or memories, but we see emotional patterns. Color, shape, motion. Most species have simple patterns. But yours—" She paused, searching for the right words. "Yours looked like an open universe, like a place where anything could grow." Rourke wasn't sure how to respond. He had never thought of himself as anything special. "Maybe you're just seeing the part of me that tries to keep things steady." Torella shook her head softly. "No, it is more than steadiness. It is potential, it is hope. Humans carry a strange fire inside them. It is why many species fear and admire you." Rourke let out a slow breath. "I'm still trying to understand that myself." Before Torella could answer, alarms chimed. Soft but urgent, Captain Shavrin's voice echoed through the bridge. "Prepare for exit from FTL. We are approaching the edge of the silent rift." Everyone moved quickly. The ship slowed. The streaks of light collapsed back into stars, but what lay ahead made the crew fall silent. A vast region of space stretched before them, dark, cold, and empty. No light from stars, no planets glowing with life. Just a black wound carved into the galaxy. Rourke leaned forward, studying it. "It looks dead." Saren's voice trembled slightly. "I feel nothing from inside. No energy, no motion. It is like a void without memory." Torella stared at the darkness, her violet eyes shimmering. "This place is wrong." I sense fear in the echoes around it, as if the stars themselves resisted dying. Bruca cracked her thick fingers. "Well, we're here. No point turning back now." Captain Shavrin looked at Rourke. "Commander, your insight may be valuable. Humans see patterns others miss. What do you think?" Rourke studied the rift again. He felt a tightness in his chest. Not fear, but a sense of challenge, of something waiting to be understood. "I think," he said slowly, "that whatever happened here didn't happen fast. It looks like something drained energy, not destroyed it. Like it took its time." Captain Shavrin nodded. "Then we will proceed carefully." Torella watched him, thoughtful. "Your calmness. It does not waver even here." Rourke didn't answer. He couldn't explain the feeling rising inside him, like a quiet determination, a spark that refused to dim. Whatever was inside that darkness, humanity would not face it with fear. They would face it with wonder, boldness, and hope. And Torella, seeing the steady fire in his eyes, felt certain that their journey was only beginning. The Luminara drifted along the edge of the silent rift, like a small silver leaf floating near the mouth of an endless cave. Darkness stretched before the crew, wide and deep, swallowing the light of distant stars. Even the ship's soft humming grew faint, as if the void itself was absorbing the sound. Commander Elias Rourke stood beside the main display, arms folded, eyes fixed on the strange region. He was not frightened, but the stillness of the rift carried a weight that pressed on his thoughts. Captain Shavrin stepped forward. "Saren, begin long-range scans." "Torella, check for emotional echoes or resonance. Anything unusual?" "Yes, Captain," both replied. Saren's fingers glided across the controls, leaving a trail of amber sparks. But the display showed only dark blanks, no readings, Saren said, voice tight. "It is as if the rift refuses to be scanned." Bruca snorted from her engineering station. "This place eats signals like I eat breakfast." Torella's hands moved more gracefully. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting her mind drift outward. Her species did not sense energy the same way machines did. They felt emotional vibrations, residue left by sentient life. But what she sensed now made her open her eyes quickly. "There is silence," she whispered. "Too perfect. This space has no memories." Rourke turned toward her. "No memories? How is that possible?" Torella shook her head. "Everything leaves an echo: joy, fear, life, loss. Even dead worlds have shadows of what they once were. But here, it is empty, like a place that has never existed. The ship moved deeper. A soft tremor ran along the hull. Captain Shavrin frowned. That was not turbulence. Saren's eyes brightened. Something touched our outer field. Not physical, more like awareness. Rourke narrowed his eyes. Something knows we're here? Saren nodded slowly. It feels like a listening presence, Bruca muttered. Great, the void can listen. That's comforting. The first encounter as the Luminara entered the rift, the darkness thickened. Stars behind them faded, swallowed by the same silence that consumed the systems inside. Suddenly, the lights on the bridge dimmed. Panels flickered. Power fluctuation, Bruca growled, slamming 4 hands onto her controls. Something is draining us. Captain Shavrin reacted instantly. Shields to full. Pull us back. Before she finished, a shape appeared ahead. A massive silhouette drifted out of the dark like a mountain rising from deep water. No clear edges, no solid form. Only shifting layers of smoky light like a creature made from moving shadows. It was enormous. Half the crew instinctively stepped back. Rourke didn't move. His eyes stayed locked on the figure. Tarella's voice trembled. This is not a star, not a ship, not a natural cloud. It is alive, Saren nodded, frightened. I can feel something from it now. It is not hostile. But it is hungry. Rourke clenched his jaw. That's the thing taking the systems. Captain Shavrin whispered, We believe so. The creature turned, if something without a real body could turn. A slow ripple ran across its shape, and the ship shook gently like a hand brushing against it. Saren gasped. It is looking at us. The lights dimmed again, Bruca yelled. It's draining our energy faster, like it wants to taste us. Rourke stepped toward Tarella. What do you sense? Her eyes were wide, shimmering like trembling stars. It listens to emotions. It follows fear, confusion, and strong feelings. It does not understand them, it only consumes. Rourke nodded slowly. Then we can't panic, he turned to the captain. Tell the crew to stay calm. No sudden emotional spikes. We need steady minds. Captain Shavrin trusted him. All crew follow Commander Rourke's instruction. Lower emotional output. Focus only on your tasks. The plan to survive. The creature drifted closer, its form stretching like smoke across the void. A deep vibration pulsed through the ship, almost like a slow heartbeat. Rourke watched it carefully. We need to distract it and get clear, but not with fear. Something else, Bruca huffed. What do humans do when facing a giant cosmic shadow thing? Rourke allowed a thin smile. We think. He scanned the controls, watching the energy patterns. The creature wasn't attacking directly. It was absorbing, slow, steady, methodical. We can't overpower it, he said, but maybe we can confuse it. Captain Shavrin tilted her head. Explain. Rourke pointed to the resonance displays. Humans produce emotional patterns that are unpredictable. If we amplify a mixed emotional signal, curiosity, humor, determination, it might distract the creature. It expects simple feelings. Give it something messy and complex. Tarella blinked in surprise. Human minds are chaotic. That might actually work. Saren hesitated. But how do we create such a signal? Rourke stepped to the console. Use a low-level neural projection. Something harmless. I'll provide the emotional base. Captain Shavrin looked concerned. It may connect to you, Rourke nodded. I know. Tarella stared at him, worry clear on her face. Commander, are you certain? Positive, Rourke said calmly. Humans handle chaos better than most. He placed his hand on the projection pad. A soft light wrapped around his wrist. Saren, start the resonance link. Saren activated the controls and the air hummed with low energy. Rourke closed his eyes, letting his mind wander. Not toward fear, but toward the strange mix that made humans human. He thought of his childhood sky filled with stars. He thought of small victories, old mistakes, friendships, jokes, wonder. He let his emotions blend and swirl. Hope, sadness, curiosity, courage, love, determination, all at once. Trella gasped softly. In her eyes, she saw the colors of his emotional universe shift and expand. Warm gold, deep blue, bright white, soft green. No other species had such diverse resonance. The projection glowed. Saren whispered, It's working. The creature. It is slowing. The shadow being stretched its form as if trying to understand the strange signal. It paused, drifting in confusion, no longer pulling energy as strongly. Bruca shouted, Captain, we have power. Enough to move. Captain Shavrin pointed forward. Full speed. Get us past the creature. The Luminara surged ahead. The creature remained still, sensing the swirling emotions Rourke projected. But as the ship moved, the creature stirred again. A tendril of shadow reached toward the projection pad, toward Rourke. Torella cried out, "Commander, disconnect." Saren slammed the controls. Cutting the link. The light snapped off and Rourke fell to one knee. Torella rushed to him, catching his arm. "Are you hurt?" she asked, voice trembling. Rourke shook his head and stood. "I'm okay." "Let's move," Brooka cheered. "We're clear." It stopped following. For a moment, everyone exhaled, but Saren's expression turned grim. The creature is moving again. On the screen, the giant being began drifting slowly toward the distant stars, toward the direction of settled space. Rourke's face hardened. "It's leaving the rift." Captain Shavrin stared at the display, crystalline body dim. "If it reaches populated systems, it will drain everything in its path." Torella hugged her hands close to her chest. "It does not know what harm it causes. It only follows emotions. The more fear it senses across the stars, the more it will feed." Rourke's jaw tightened. "Then we have to stop it." Silence filled the bridge. Every alien stared at him. Captain Shavrin finally spoke. "Commander, what you did today saved us, but facing this creature again may be impossible." Rourke's voice stayed steady. "We won't survive by running. Someone must learn to talk to it, or connect with it. Not with fear, not with panic." Torella stepped closer, studying his eyes again. Inside them, she saw the same calm, vast wonder she had seen before. An open universe full of courage and hope. "Commander," she whispered, "what do you believe we should do?" Rourke turned back to the screen where the shadow creature drifted away, searching for emotional noise like a lonely traveler reaching for distant lights. "We go after it," he said. "We understand it, and we find a way to stop it without destroying it." Torella felt a strange shiver. Fear, hope, awe, all at once. Humanity's fire burned bright inside Rourke, and she knew their journey was far from over. The Luminara chased the great shadow creature across the edge of the silent rift, following the slow but steady trail of energy it left behind. Stars grew brighter as they escaped the dark zone, and the galaxy opened again like a vast ocean of shining lights. But the creature did not stop. It moved with a slow, drifting grace toward the nearest star systems, places filled with life, emotion, and fear. Commander Elias Rourke stood at the center of the bridge, gaze fixed on the creature's fading silhouette. His face was calm, but his thoughts carried weight. Torella watched him quietly, sensing the mixture of determination and quiet sadness inside him. Captain Shavrin approached. "Commander, sensors confirm the creature will reach the Kelta system within 4 hours. That system holds over 12 billion lives across multiple planets." Saren added, "If it enters that region, panic will spread. Fear will feed it. It will grow stronger." Rourke nodded slowly. "That's why we can't let it reach them." Brooka crossed her forearms. "What's the plan, human? Fight it? Because this time it won't be confused." Rourke shook his head. "No. Fighting will only make it react with more hunger. We need to understand it, talk to it, connect with it." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Torella stepped closer. "Commander, this being does not understand communication. It understands only resonance, emotion, awareness." Rourke turned to her gently. "Then we communicate through resonance." Captain Shavrin's crystalline body sparked with concern. "If you link with it again, it may consume you." Rourke's voice remained steady. "It didn't consume me before. It was confused. Now we must give it clarity." Torella looked into his eyes, searching for fear. There was none. Only the same vast calmness she had seen the first day. A quiet universe inside him, wide enough to hold courage even in the face of darkness. She sighed softly. "Then I will help you." Preparing the connection. The ship slowed as they approached the drifting giant. Its smoky form shifted gently, like a dark cloud lit from within by fading starlight. It did not notice them yet. It was focused on the emotional noise coming from faraway systems, rising fear as more ships detected the strange movement in space. On the bridge, Saren and Brooka worked to stabilize the projection link Rourke had used before. But this time the signal would be much stronger, deep enough to reach the creature's core awareness. "This is risky," Brooka muttered. "Humans are tough, but even you have limits." Rourke smiled softly. Thanks for the vote of confidence. You're welcome, Bruca said without humor. Torella stepped beside him holding a small crystalline band. This will help focus your emotions. It will also connect my resonance with yours. Together we may form a message clearer than anything you can send alone. Rourke accepted the band and placed it around his wrist. It glowed faintly with Torella's quiet, calming presence. What will you be doing exactly? He asked. Torella placed her hand gently on the band. I will support your emotions. I cannot give you thoughts or feelings, but I can steady your resonance. If the creature becomes aggressive, I will try to soften its reaction. Rourke nodded. Thank you. Captain Chevron spoke from the command seat. Commander, the moment we activate the full projection, the creature will notice us. There is no turning back. Rourke looked once more at the drifting shadow ahead. I know. He stepped toward the main platform, inhaling deeply. Start the link, he said, into the mind of the listener. The lights dimmed. A soft melody hummed through the air as Saren activated the resonance field. Torella closed her eyes and placed both hands near the band on Rourke's wrist. A warm glow surrounded them. Then Rourke felt it. A pull, gentle at first, then stronger. A sensation like drifting underwater. Emotion swirled around him. His memories, his joys, his losses, all dancing like sparks. He opened his eyes. The bridge dissolved. Darkness spread around him, infinite and quiet. But he was not alone. Before him floated the creature, vast, shifting, made of shadow and glimmering threads of faint light. Yet here, in this resonant space, it looked more like a great wounded spirit drifting through the void. A distant voice echoed, not in words but in pure feeling. Lonely, hungry, lost. The voice was old, older than anything Rourke had ever sensed. It carried endless wandering, endless silence. The creature had moved through galaxies for ages, following life not out of cruelty, but instinct, trying to fill a void it could not understand. Torella's soft, emotional presence steadied him, reminding him he was not truly alone. Rourke projected a calm response. He thought of stars, of people laughing, of music, of discovery. He shaped a message built from hope, not fear. You are not alone. We can show you something new. The creature pulsed softly, confused. It drifted closer. Rourke felt a wave of emptiness wash over him, almost overwhelming. Memories flickered. Friends he missed, fears he kept hidden. Quiet nights staring at the sky, wondering what else existed. But he didn't break. He reached deeper into himself, letting the creature see what Torella had seen. A universe inside him, calm and vast, full of wonder despite the fear around him. There is more than hunger. There is more than drifting. There is connection. A trembling ripple passed through the creature. What is connection? The meaning came slow, broken. Rourke breathed out gently. Let me show you. He let memories flow. Moments of human courage, compassion, mistakes, learning, rebuilding. Humanity was not perfect, but humans grew. They changed. They adapted even when the universe tried to break them. Torella added her resonance, soft violet light spreading through the darkness like a gentle hand. Reaching into the creature's mind, the creature paused. For the first time in millions of years, it stopped moving, the turning point on the bridge. Saren stared at the monitors. The creature's energy reading just dropped. It's stabilizing. Bruca blinked. Is it listening? Captain Chevron whispered. Stay ready to pull them out. Inside the resonance field, the creature floated closer until it stood towering over Rourke. But now its presence felt lighter, less hungry, more curious. It projected a single emotion. Show me more. So Rourke did. He opened the deepest part of his emotional universe. Wonder, courage, kindness, grief, love, discovery, forgiveness, everything that made humans human. A messy, beautiful storm of emotions no other species displayed in such wide range. The creature absorbed it slowly, not consuming it, but learning from it. The void around them began to shift. Faint lights appeared, like stars waking up. Torella's voice echoed softly inside his mind. Commander, it understands. It knows it caused harm. It feels regret. Rourke projected one final message. You don't have to feed on fear. You can choose your path. You can drift in peace. A deep sound echoed, like a long sigh released from a soul that had never spoken. The creature drifted back, and its shadowy form changed. It grew softer, quieter, then it turned slowly away from the bright galaxy and began drifting into deep, empty space, far from life, far from fear. Its voice faded with one last emotion. Thank you. Back to reality. The resonance field faded. The bridge returned. Torella gasped softly as the link broke and Rourke staggered. She caught his arm. Commander, are you all right? Rourke breathed in, steady but tired. We're safe. The creature won't come back. Saren confirmed from the controls. It's moving away from galactic space. Its energy is calm, stable. Bruca hit the console with excitement. Ha, you did it, human. You talked a star-eating shadow thing into leaving. Captain Shavrin's body glowed bright with pride. Commander Rourke, you have given the confluence something precious, a solution that saves both life and the creature itself. Torella still held his arm gently. She looked into his eyes, and what she saw made her breath catch. The universe she always saw inside him was brighter now, full of new stars and new colors. Hope shining stronger than before. You have changed something today, she whispered, not just for the galaxy, but inside yourself. Rourke met her gaze, calm and warm. We all did. I just showed it what humanity sees when we look at the universe. Torella smiled faintly. Wonder, always wonder. Rourke looked out at the stars, the darkness, the endless frontier. The universe was vast and strange, full of danger and beauty. But he felt no fear, only calm, only wonder. Forevermore.